Good morning, you listen to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning my guest is Adam Nonn, the president of Nonn's Kitchen, Bath, and Flooring, both up in Wisconsin and down in Florida. Adam, how you doing?
Doing great today, Kemp. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to talk to you. You were in the news recently. You've decided to sell your business, stay on board, but sell your business to Artisan Design Group. We'll get to that. A little bit more background on you. This business that you're the president of has been around for 35 years. It was your fathers and uncles were in the business. You bought them out. You've been president for 8 years, and you're part of the FEI group. You're basically a flooring contractor, and you focus in the multifamily and builder market, right?
Yeah, we've got some retail locations as well up in the Wisconsin market, but very diversified in the different segments that we do business with.
And when you say retail locations, are they really kind of builder design centers, or are they open to anybody?
You know, they're open to anybody, but we do a lot of builder work out of them. Down in the Florida market, we have a lot of builders that have their own design showrooms where people go and make their selections. And up in Wisconsin, you have some, but not as many. And there's not a lot of national guys in the state of Wisconsin either. So typically they use our showrooms for selections as well.
Yeah, and last time I interviewed you, we figured out that the type of builders that you service up in Wisconsin are more custom builders, and down in Florida it's more track builders, so you've got exposure to both the upper end of the market and also the value end of the market, right?
Yeah, completely correct. Up in Wisconsin, we do have some more quote-unquote track builders up there, but they're just not the national guys, right? They're more smaller or regional companies that predominantly are just in the Midwest.
Now, Adam, you're kind of a young guy, right? About 35, 36 years old, is that right?
Yes, sir, 35 years old.
And the reason I know is because you won, we do this emerging professionals, and you were one of the group that you were picked by our judges in 14. So you're a real mover and shaker and one of our alumni of the emerging professionals thing. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, 2014 seems like a long time ago, Kemp.
It does. Before we get into this ADG acquisition, let's talk a little bit about the business. Down this COVID year, I'm sure in April of last year, you didn't know what was going to happen. Tell us how the year went and how you ended up the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody has 2009 and 10 in the back of their minds when COVID first hit in March, right?
Right.
We were no different than the other entrepreneurs and owners. Kind of right away go, what's the worst thing that could happen? And instantaneously you think that way. And we right away went into very conservative mode. The low-hanging fruit or some of the parts of the business that weren't as necessary to run, we kind of cut out right away and just wanted to be smart about it, right? We didn't know what to expect, and all this stuff was coming so quick, and there's a lot of misinformation, and I think we did a fairly good job. We took it on the chin pretty good second part of March, and specifically April and May, but the nice thing is we recovered from there, and both in the Wisconsin market and in the Florida market, the business came back, which is great.
And so it's the year-over-year comparison of 19 to 20. How'd your year end up?
We were down, I think, 1 or 2% in total sales, but for being gone and shut down for 10 weeks, essentially, up in the markets, I think that's a fairly good comeback. Now, we had record backlog prior to COVID hitting. Mm-hmm. I mean, we had the best January and February we ever had. So you mix in 10 weeks of being pretty much shut down, that only be down 1%, I'm pretty happy with how the year ended.
Listen, in a year like we had in 20, flat is good, I think, definitely. So let's move to this ADG. A lot of people have actually called me and said, hey, you need to call Adam because he's a young guy. Most of the people that are joining up with them, are older guys that don't really have another 20 years to serve the business. So talk about this decision for you to join up with ADG.
I think they actually have a couple younger entrepreneurs that have now joined, and they're going more that way, right? They need leadership, and the company is about $1.2 billion roughly in sales, and as they continue to grow, which is the mindset of what they want to do, they're going to need some younger leaders to help grow this, and some of the other leaders too that originally sold and became a partner in the deal. They've got some young talent underneath them as well, and they're really looking at the next generation, and so. I love the direction that ADG is going. Larry and Wayne were two mentors of mine, and, I've known them for over a decade, and I talk to them quite often. And they'd approached me previously to when we did the deal, and just timing wasn't right. And when we talked again, there's a ton of trust in Larry and Wayne. Some of the other people on the team I knew really well. Doug Davis, who's recently promoted to president, is a good friend of mine, known him for quite a few years prior to this. And there's just a lot of checks that were marked off that were something that we wanted. And the background of what they have and the tools in their toolbox were a lot more than we had as a company. And, I don't want to say a large company, but, we're bigger than some, and just the resources that they have on the technology side, some of the online design centers that they're coming, some of the out in the field tools for our guys to be more successful. It really came down. It was a no-brainer for us.
Well, let's don't be modest now. You're on our top 100 list. You've got a substantial piece of business. I was listening to the interview I did with you back in the fall of 19, the last time the FEI group had a meeting. I actually did a podcast like this one, and I mentioned in there that you probably aren't on the ADG radar, and now here it is, a year and a half later, and you're part of ADG. You mentioned the founders of it, Larry and Wayne, and there's probably a chance that in the next shift of business ownership that they'll probably cash out. I don't know how it's structured, but I guess you get shares of the whole thing, don't you? Is that the way it's structured?
Yeah, everyone is you have opportunity to put shares back into the partnership, and we're vested in it as well. We believe in this and what they stand for. I mean, ADG isn't for everybody, right? They really want the best of the best, and they want the brightest operators. And as an entrepreneur, there's a lot of great things that they allow us to do. They still allow us to run the business, and then they give us tools and resources to go and run, right? They know this business is a local business with relationships. Yeah. Some companies come and try to acquire you and take over and essentially eliminate a lot of roles and positions. And these guys are really, hey, we want the business to run. We want you guys to do it. We're here for you. And it's a completely different mindset. And I think it really allows the entrepreneur and the owner to succeed and continue to grow the business and take some of the risk off, but same opportunity. At the very top, sometimes it gets lonely and all the risk is on you. And now you've got 18, you think about it, they've got 18 other companies that have joined now and over 22 states and over 100 plus different distribution design facilities throughout the United States. And we've got 2,000 team members. It's just you have a lot of resources and partners that you can go to if you need some help. And already in the 20 days since we did this deal, I mean, the tools that we have are going to make our business a lot better and better for our clients and better for our team members as well. So,
all right. So this decision, was there, I better do this because the marketplace is consolidating? Was there any fear that drove this, or was it all just about opportunity?
You always, in the back of the mind, you always have to worry about that a little bit, Ken. Yeah. But that was not the reasoning for this. Myself, obviously, being 35, and Kelly, my business partner, she's young 40s. We just saw it as a great opportunity for us. I mean, Larry and Wayne and the entire ADG team, they still want us to grow. Yeah. They want us to service our clients, and now they're putting gasoline on the fire that's already been started, and it's allowing us to do a lot more things that we weren't able without having as much risk on the table as we once did. And I think you'll see some really big growth coming out of our company, and I'm excited for the future. I'll be very honest with you.
One last question is the private equity firm that's involved with this, the Sterling Group. Are they planning to stay in for a while? Do you have any idea?
A lot of that's handled up with Larry and Wayne and the corporate team. I can't speculate on something like that. I know they're very excited about how ADG is performing for them. Their entire team over there is great to work with, and through the transition, they're amazing to work with as well.
Well, Adam, I appreciate you spending time with us and give us an update on this big decision you made of joining ADG, and give us an update on how you've survived through this last year. Again, by talking to Adam Nonn, the president of Nonn's Kitchen, Bath, and Flooring, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.